Okay, so for relevant cost problems, we're going to go back to session 15 and we're going to work on add drop practice problem. So when we pull that up, it's going to look like this. So if you would like, why don't you try and get started on it? I'm going to cut off the top there, but it doesn't really matter. All you need is this. So what it's asking you in this question is giving you all these costs for each of these products and for the total company. And it's asking you to determine what will happen if you decide to drop the platters line because they are making a negative profit. So I'm just again, they already gave you your original cost, which was very nice of them for the whole company. So you just have to list which costs go away and then what stays for the total company and then decide whether you should drop them or not. So I'll kind of pull this up on Excel, but first I'll have my cheat sheet here and then Excel. So again, oh yikes. This should be clear. So again, why don't you just try to work through this problem? It's right here. These are the total costs and all the product costs. So why don't you try to work through these, figure out what the total cost is, and decide whether or not you should drop the platters. Okay, so first things first, you want to start with revenue. Because this is an add drop problem, we do want to include revenue. So first, I'm going to type it out. So obviously if we drop the platters, we're going to lose all the revenue associated with them because it doesn't say anywhere that we have some platters already made and hiding. Therefore, the remaining $153,004 will stay. And again, so because we're losing $70,000, then only this amount of the total revenue will stay for the whole company. So then variable product costs, variable selling costs. I think it says somewhere, yeah, it says variable costs will all be eliminated. Therefore, we can assume that all of these variable costs will go away and the selling costs. And therefore, because those leave, then this amount of the total variable and selling costs will stay. So far, this is everything that leaves if we drop the platters, and this is everything that stays. So then it says, what does it say? It says fixed manufacturing costs include $9,000 for equipment leased. So it looks like we skipped that here, but anyway, we'll just skip to that. It says that they include these $9,000 for equipment leased and used only for manufacturing the platters. And so it says the lease is cancelable within 1 month's notice. Now, a lot of people try to figure out, because this is a quarter, so they do 3/4 of 9,000 leaves immediately, and they'd say that 1 month would stay. However, again, we want to think about in the kind of like the middle term. So we're just going to pretend that it's all leaving immediately, and then therefore this much would stay, but it's only for the platter, so nothing would stay. But what I would do at the side is make a note and say that 1/4 of it would stay, and then that would be like 1 divided by 4 times that 9,000 would stay, and then I would kind of finish these out and say, what the end result would be, including it for the first quarter. But for now, we're thinking in the long run, the semi-long run. So we're just going to pretend that it leaves immediately. And the next it says the supervisor position can be eliminated for $5,000 in savings plus that 20% fringe benefits. So that's $6,000 that goes. The remaining $18,000 will stay. And occupancy, so it says that you pay $12,000 for rent and $11,000 for utilities. It says if the platter line is dropped, a small area, 15%, can be walled off and rented for $2,000. Now, that means that we're going to get back $2,000 of the rent. Some people would focus on the 15%, but it doesn't matter how much the rent is actually worth. If we can sell it to them for $2,000, then we're going to get $2,000 back, no matter what it was actually worth. So because we made $2,000 back on that, then we only have to keep $10,000 in that cost. For the utilities, it doesn't say anything. This is the leasing will pay 15% of utility costs, so we will use a percent for that. So 15% of 11,000 will be 1,650, and there's the remaining costs. Now, it says fixed selling and administrative costs include marketing, advertising, and administration. If they're dropped, marketing can be reduced by $1,000. Advertising can be reduced by $1,500. And administrative expenses can be reduced by 5%, which 5% of that administrating of 16,000 will equal 900. So we'll keep $17,100. And I know I said to keep costs in the negative, so I'm going to make these all red to represent that they're costs, just so it's really clear that these are costs. So therefore, in the end, if we take off this $70,000 and take off all these costs, so what are the sum of these costs? We can see that we're getting rid of more revenue than we are of costs. So therefore, because we're losing $70,000 in revenue, but we're also only losing $65,550 in costs, that means we're going to be getting rid of $4,450 in profit and only keeping $1,580 in profit. So remember, we said if this is positive, that's bad because you don't want to lose a single dollar. In this case, it is positive. But another way to think about it again is if the amount that stays in profit is less than the original amount of profit, that's also bad. So in this case, you're only going to end up keeping $1,580 in profit, whereas before you were making $6,030 in profit. So again, even though you're making a negative profit on this, because you are making a revenue on it, you don't want to drop it because you're going to be losing less costs than you would be losing revenue. So in total, you do not want to drop this line.